Hello, my friends, and welcome to another review done by yours truly, PI7. And this time I'm looking at a game in which, well, I told you before that you had to play in order, and I'm about to tell you I've been playing it in order. If you're not aware of this series, this is the third installment of the PS4 SRW series, or the Super Robot Wars series of games. This is in a trilogy, so this is T. T is short for Terra, or Earth. Now, I have to say I've been enjoying this game for quite some time, and let me tell you, I've been looking into the mini missions I'm going through, and there are, from my count, 65 missions. That's 54 in the main campaign and 11 in the DLC, if you have the DLC. Sadly, though, since this is an import of sorts, I can't get the DLC missions. So therefore, the DLC missions are just that. They don't change up anything in regards to the game. It's just added more missions. And on top of that, well, here's where the interesting part comes in before I go into the lineup. If you played the previous games, which are V and X, they are featured in T. So therefore, when I mean VTX Union, it really is a VTX Union. You do get the characters from V, or Voyage, and you do get the characters from Cross. Now mind you, when I mean the characters, I mean the main protagonists from both. So you don't just get the main, you don't get just one, you get all the characters plus Masaki from Sidebuster, or Muscle Kitchen. I should really call it that. So far, I am on stage 23 out of 54. And let me tell you something. When it makes sense to why you should play it in that order, whether you start at Cross, which is X, or Voyage, which is V, as long as you have the data on hand, you know, it's sort of like with Arc the Lad, you know. Other games that basically have piggyback data, like Dynasty Warriors, Arc the Lad, and the like. It does have a piggyback feature, which is totally nice, which it gives you added characters. And you only get them like halfway, like I would say the third arc of the game. I'm getting through the second arc of the game, because I'm close to scenario 25, which marks the end of the second arc of the game. Game still has the same ways of playing. You know, you have two characters to choose from. You can either be Saizo or Sagiri, or Sagiri. It's Sagiri. Yeah, Saizo or Sagiri. Those are the two main protagonists of the game, the male and the female protagonist. And if you were going with Saizo, or as I like, or as I dub him, Edo Tokyo, nickname Eiji. You start with Tianado. If you were to side with Sajiri, or Sagiri, you would be with the Gispins, which I believe is also a DLC only unit. So it has quite the lineup and quite the startup. So we're going through the lineup, which most people are wondering about. I'll get into the plot as we go into this. But the lineup features the following: Invincible Robo Trider G7, Auto Battler Dunbane, New Story of Auto Battler Dunbane, Kido Senshi Zeta Gundam, Kido Senshi Double Zeta Gundam, Kido Senshi Gundam Char's Counterattack, Kido Senshi Gundam Char's Counterattack Beltorika's Children, Mobile Suit Crossbone Gundam, which is the sequel to F91 manga form, Mobile Suit Crossbone Gundam Skull Heart, Crossbone Gundam Steel 7, Kido Butoden G Gundam, Armored Trooper Voltomes, Voltomes The Last Red Shoulder, Voltomes The Big Battle, Brave Express Maitagain, that is how it's pronounced, Mike Gain, King of Braves Gal Gaigar, Cowboy Bebop, Gunbuster, or as his full title, Ace no Nirai Gunbuster, Aim for the Top Gunbuster, Martian successor Nadesico the Motion Picture, Prince of Darkness, Geta Robo Omegaton, Mazinger Z Infinity, which is basically the last official storyline in the Mazinger Z saga, and I will get into that very shortly. Arcadia of My Youth, Endless Orbit S2X, that's Captain Harlock. Magic Knight Rare, Gun Sword, and Expelled from Paradise. And the tagline is, risking everything to protect your home Earth. Now, what I find funny about this is, if you were to follow the following, Voyage was basically taking the story from Leiji Matsumoto's Uchusenkan Yamato. That was basically the entire story. They were taking that story into account with Voyage, because that's what it was. And then we go to Cross, which took the story of Wataru, Mashinhiro Wataru. And then for here, it's a plethora of things for Terra. You have Captain Harlock. You have Cowboy Bebop. You have Gunsword. You have so many things in this. And, oh yeah, you have G Gundam too. You have so many different things going on. It's like, here. It's basically scattered about. So basically, you're going through 54 stages. And each story is kind of like scattered about. Like you got Cowboy Bebop. Well, Cowboy Bebop can fall into anything really, because you know it's like Cowboy Bebop's just there, so it can fall in anywhere it damn well wants to. That's where it stands. The same with Voltoms. Voltoms is basically just that. You have a lot of units that kind of fall into other worlds. Like this robot, like this mech over here on the right side is Dino Thursday. Your lower right. So Dino Thursday, that's Arhan from Expelled from Paradise. Never seen that show. On top of the head cut off, that's Gunbuster. In the center, that's Galgagar. And of course, God the Gundam. Top center is the Arcadia. And on the left is the Black Siena, which is Akito's mech from Nadesco, the motion picture. That is Chiriko's mech from Voltoms. And of course, Mazinger Z from Infinity. Now, the strongest stories I have seen so far are basically that of let me see. Oh, and Dead Center, Rayerv. That's Rayerv. So far, where I am in story, they're talking about the Zonder, and mainly the other forces out there between the invaders from Get a Rebel Armageddon, the Zonders from G3, and the Space Invaders from Gunbuster. And basically all the units are basically just stuck in this. So basically it is a war for Earth. For Earth's future. What I could say about this is, yeah, it's a plot. It's the usual SRW plot. And from what I could tell, the units I've used much of during my run of it, excuse me, I've used so far Galgagar, Dino Thursday, Eldora Sol. They're from Gunsword. I just said fuck it with Brownie because I'm like, Brownie usually misses, so I'm like, no. If you keep missing, I just will not use you. Unless you get an upgrade, I will not use you. That's my policy whenever I'm playing a tactical. If you keep missing, I have no choice but to take you out until you get an upgrade. So they weren't like, say, the team from Nadia, Secret of Blue Water. It's like it wasn't like the fucking ladybug in Nadia, Secret of Blue Water from Cross. And like, come on now. This is it? I'd rather have the Nautilus 2 just be like, okay, fuck it. Just ram a hole in that motherfucker. I can tell you throughout the 3 games that I've been playing throughout this entirety of, say, the summer. In order, I liked Cross. Cross was more of a challenge because I was working with mainly a magic-based unit, and that's totally different because, you know, I hardly deal with a magic-based character. So it's okay for me to say, you know what, it's basically like this. I don't mind using a magic-based character, so as long as I can make it as fast as I stipulate well want. Because when you're playing an SRW game, the most important thing is what you value most out of certain units. Like, say, for Mazinger, you want it to be a tank, so you put more emphasis into the power and defense over the mobility. You want to have the mobility just right. Like, say, you can basically max the HP out and the energy out to a certain degree, so it can just pump out attacks like nobody's business. And plus, if you have like a special perk on, like energy regen per turn and HP regen or something like that, that helps too. HP recovery every turn or something like that, that sort of thing. By the way, the Chirico's mech is Voltoms, so that's why it is Armored Trooper Voltoms. So it's basically how you want to play out your characters. So, excuse me. Basically, with everything that is going on with this, it's like I have a power load of characters. Like, seriously, I have a straight power load of characters coming from Gunbuster, G3, Mazinger, and to a certain extent, Gunsword. But I think my finishing loadout will be, I would make Down on Thursday fast but powerful. So it'd be like fast enough to just go straight samurai, and yet nobody could basically touch him. And of course, G Gundam is basically just that, G Gundam. Basically, Saisashi will be my speed, the most mobile of all mobile units. Domon would be the speed and power. Chiburi would be power speed. Allenby would be almost like Domon, but not entirely quite like Domon. Argo would be just pure power. George would be speed. And eventually Master Asia would be like the OP of all OP. Because, he's Master Asia. I haven't gotten the awakened powers yet, but I will pretty soon. Far as this game was concerned, I've been enjoying it. It's one of the games I've been playing off between my streams and my Let's Plays. Technically, it is pretty damn good. I'd say on a good night, I can get in at least 1 or 2 missions per se. And yes, I'm doing split routes too, so I'm doing one side with this team and another side with this team. So it's like when I come back, okay, whoever has a better, whoever has a better run on both ends, that's what I keep. I'm really amazed at the surprising overload of female characters that were put into this, more so than male. Because it's like this: you got the trio from Rare, Hikaru, Fu, and Umi. You have Gunbuster, the top squadron from Gunbuster. You have Faye Valentine and Spike Spiegel and Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop. You have Ruri Hoshino, who plays Captain from Nadeshiko, the motion picture. And, oh my god, Angela from Expelled from Paradise. I mean, there's a whole plethora of strong females in this game. More so than male. So it's like, even on the field, they're powerful. Whereas you have supporters, you got supporters in like spades. So you got Asanage, Wendy, so many other characters I can't even think of. Lisa, you don't remember Lisa? She's from Mazinger Z Infinity. I'm even more surprised that Trier G7 and the shuttle team, featuring the his 4 loyal employees from the Takeo company, they're there too. I mean, apparently you can get all the characters. Oh, let's not forget about the Dunbine characters. There's, Sho, Marvel, and Todd Mangina. Nobody cares about Todd. Oh, and let's not forget about Shion from New Story. So it's amazing how well, as I'm looking at this, you got a whole slew of characters, and you're basically like going through them, and like I said, there are a lot of female characters, both on the field and support. I'm really shocked that Rain isn't on the field. But I do like how, for some reason, most of the stories is like an after story. Like G Gundam carries a great after story. And as we're going through most of the known anime, it's like Mazinger Z always has that one story that just carries. It just carries itself because it's going to guide. So it's like the same with Getarobo. Rare's story is basically like, you came from this world, now you're going into this world, now you're going back into this world, and guess what? You're not going to be dealing with magic creatures, you're going to be dealing with actual aliens, space monsters, armies. You're going to be dealing with the real stuff. Not stuff you see from Sephiroth. No, you're going to be dealing with not only Sephiroth, but you're dealing with everything. But like I said, I'm even more surprised that, like you got a whole overhaul of characters. And even when I'm looking at, like, that blew my mind. I'm like, damn, I got like twice as much characters, or thrice as much characters if I add in the V and X teams. So that's like, you got a whole slew of characters, because they carry over from V and X into T. So this is the reason why you want to play T last, just so you can get the whole benefit of, say, you get the Voyage team, you get the Cross team. You do get extra units if you have the DLC, but again, only if you have the DLC. And mind you, this game is like 3 years old. The DLC does not work. When I got it, the DLC just does not work, because I got it, very late. And plus, expired like 2 years ago, so guess what? Nope. And the DLC would have had 3 bonuses, which was 2 special scenarios and the guest spins from the early game. So, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. That was like an early purchase bonus. But since, I hadn't played a new generation SRW game in a while, I might as well just say, okay, well, the trilogy is still fresh. It's not that old. So it's like 3 years old. So it's still very fresh. Let's see. A few people that we lost along the way, and they are worth mentioning. And basically, it's like this. The singer of G Gundam, he passed away. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull all the data up for this. 2 seconds. As I said, the singer behind Kido Buteren G Gundam, 55 years old. We lost him last month. Yoshifumi Ushima. So this goes out to him. Among the few characters, people, not characters. Among the few people we lost over the years, as far as anime was concerned, and how they affected the Gundam world, that was one of them. I would say, I hadn't done a video like this in a while, but, moment of silence for this one man who basically brought Flying in the Sky and Trust You Forever over in a Super Robot Tyson game that basically it was just there, and all I can say is, damn, lost another one. Yeah, we lost another one. We lost so many people in the anime industry, and not only that, but even in the video game industry. But that's for a different video, or it might be for a stream. I don't know. But going back to this SRW T, yeah, it is one of those games that if you do not have it, you can find it easily on Amazon. It will cost you a pretty penny if you are into strategy games like I am. Say strategy tactical, because that's what it is, a strategy tactical RPG. And really, it is very fun. And I plan to get 30 in the near future, because 30 has other characters, recurring characters from previous games. I know Van's in it from Gunsword. He and his armor, that's what it's called. He and his armor, Dawn of Thursday, is in it. Gridman's in it. I do believe, I think Ultraman's in it. I mean, they got DLC up the wazoo for that one. So that is one game I plan to get when it really goes on sale, and I mean really goes on sale. Just grab that and the DLC, and I think it'll be worth it, because if you were raised on mechs like I have been since the 80s, I mean, I've been raised on anime, so me and the 80s, we got along very well. But as far as me trying to do it as an LP, that's going to be a challenge, because I can't really do it as an LP. Because if it was on PSN, I streamed this game in a heartbeat. Well, the problem is, I would need a capture card for it. Really, this is one of those games I would seriously need a capture card for. But aside from that, I have really been enjoying T for all it's worth. And like I said, I'm halfway through the game. And when I get to 54, which is the last mission, and as I said, you have characters from the previous games, and they are in it. So that means Bright's not only in it, but Amuro as well. Now, if you got Get a Robo, that means you got the original 3 and you don't have the original 3, but you do have not just the original 3, but you also have Shin Geta Dragon from Armageddon. So, that's what I mean by the original 3. You have Yoma, Benkei. I mean, not Yoma, Musashi, and Hayato. And yes, Benkei is also in this. So I'm not going to blow much of the plot that I've already... Well, if you've seen Shin Geta Robo Armageddon, I would say go watch that. Plus, like I said, if you ever watch anything from Go Nagai, you should know this. The previous games, you had two different versions of Mazinger Z. Mind you, you had Mazin Kaiser. You had the Mazin Kaiser storyline and Mazinger Z. This is the thing about Go Nagai. When he does a certain story, he basically gives off different avenues. Like, say, Mazinger Z is one avenue. And then there's God Mazinger, Majin Saga, Infinity, Mazin Kaiser. You know, the same thing with Getarobo. You got Getarobo, Go, Armageddon, Shin. And the beautiful thing about his work is that it gets split off at any given time, but it's okay. Because as long as you understand how it works, it's like, okay. As long as you understand the main storyline between the two. It's the same with just about any old anime you've heard of. Like Gundam, it's the same thing. Gundam is done differently, but it still has the same type of root split. It's like you got 1 Year War. That's basically Mobile Suit Gundam. And then it goes into the following: War in the Pocket, OA MS Team, Zeta, Double Zeta, and UC. Note I didn't say Char's Counterattack because nobody wants to remember Char's Counterattack. If you ever seen Char's Counterattack, it's a dumpster fire. That's why I say nobody wants to remember Char's Counterattack. It was a dumpster fire of a story. I guess F91 would count too, because F91 was counted as a one-shot. And the sequel was only done in a manga called Crossbone Gundam. So therefore, C. Book Arnold became Kinkei Now. But I won't spoil it for you. For those who never heard of it, just read it for yourself. If you ever find it, read it for yourself. You'll understand. For me, the story just like opens up for me, so I'm like, okay. They got an encyclopedia, so I don't have to worry about, what's going on with this, what's going on with that. If I really wanted to care about it, that's what I'd be doing. Like, okay, let me just there we go. Anyway. If you are a fan of Super Robot Wars, if you have a PS4, as I said, the trilogy will cost you a pretty penny. And I mean, the VTX trilogy will cost you a pretty penny. So, for me, that was like my last thing I got from Amazon. The trilogy. If I didn't do that, I probably got it at AX. Ain't no telling how. Ain't no telling. I think I got the trilogy from... I can't remember so well, but I remember I got the trilogy from... Part of the trilogy from AX, and the other one I ordered from Amazon. But it's been so long ago. But I'm finally getting around to beating it, so there's that. But it's all well and good, though. I mean, if you feel you need to dive in, you have to get your fill of Super Robot Carnage. This is the way to go. And if you want to dig in deeper, go get 30. And it's on sale for Steam. Well, it's not really on sale for Steam, but it is basically something on Steam that you should consider getting, just because, hey, we all need a good mech every once in a while. Why not have an army of them? Get an army of the most baddest mechs on the face of all anime history, from the 70s on up to now. So with that, remember Now, all reviews that I make are that of my own time, and of course, whenever I play something, I put in the time and the effort into whether I'm recording it, streaming it, or doing it on my own time. And all the opinions and views shared in this video should or should not, take your pick, matter upon the impressions told in said video. Your taste may vary. That is all. I had to put that out there because, you know, many people out there might say, but that's why I say all that. It is a review of my own design. It's nothing special. I'm just telling you how I'm enjoying this game and how I'm enjoying the series. So therefore, next time, something else. It might be another review, or it might be another video from the Chest of Obscurity, or it might be another LP of sorts, in which I call them underrated games, which is the name of my channel. So until next time, on behalf of the URG channel and Chest of Obscurity, I have been your host, Izzy, aka PI7, and I'll see you next time with more great content. In that case, Dai Tensou, see you next game, and Tenkai Musou.